Welcome to Sit Lore Podcast.
Where we sit.
All right.
Abby and Kat were born in 1997 and became best friends when they were 6. Grew up together and started a band and bonded over music ever since. 20 years later, they are all grown up and spend their free time analyzing lyrics. Now here they are talking all about their Lord and Savior, Dr. Taylor Allison Swift. Taylor, if you're listening, we love you.
Welcome to Swift Lore Podcast, where we dive into the lyrics and lore of our Lord and Savior, Dr. Taylor Allison Swift.
Absolutely, that's why we're here.
I'm Kat.
I'm Abby.
And this week, trauma at the church.
This week,
Abby came up with an episode title, and I was like, I have to subtly bring it up at some point so that it makes sense for that to be the episode title.
Right.
But we just...
So, the most subtle way possible.
It's just... I'm trying to drop hints that the episode title is Trauma at the Church. Trauma at the Church.
Trauma at the church. So, what are we covering?
Wait, I want to talk about why that's the epitome of my segue skills right now. So we went to see, we went to a concert in Albany, but we literally drove from Albany to my apartment, walked in and sat down to record.
For Sit Lore.
Sit Lore. That's our podcast. It's just about the vigilante shit chance. But the last 20 to 30 minutes of the drive, it just started torrential downpouring. So bad. I had to make sure I was blinking, driving through massive flooded puddles and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the speed limit was 65 and I was going 40 and that was normal. It was bad.
It was really bad.
But we made it.
We're here. We're safe. We saw the Jonas Brothers yesterday.
We did. We saw the Jonas Brothers.
We saw Lawrence. We really kept up for the bit. We were there for Lawrence.
So basically, we went to this concert. We wanted to see the Jonas Brothers, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I saw their tour announcement, and it was Lawrence is opening, and we saw Lawrence in 2021 in Syracuse.
They're so good,
and they're really, really good live. Yeah. So I sent it to Abby, and I was like, "Should we go? Lawrence is opening." Or I was like, "Should we go?" And you were like, "I don't know." I was like, "Did you see Lawrence opening?" She was like, "Oh wait, yeah, let's go."
Buy tickets right now.
So that's genuinely what made us go. And then,
as usual, we did it for the bit, and then the bit arrived. The day was there,
and then we had a great time at the concert. I was a little high when Joe. We listened to DJ Joe the entire way back, literally on repeat.
This is going to be confusing because there's Joe Jonas and there's also Joe, the band.
So when the Jonas Brothers came on stage, I was a little high and something about Joe Jonas just gave me the ick so bad. And I could not stop laughing at him for 2 songs straight.
I know, I was there.
And I turned to Abby and I just go, I want to stop laughing. And I literally am not able to stop laughing right now. It was something.
We have a lot of thoughts about the show, but mainly it was fun. We had a good time.
It was fun. We had a good time.
And we listened to Joe as in
Joe Keery's band.
DJO. We listened to that album Decide on repeat the entire ride back and last night. Yeah, we were joking. That's joking spelled DJOKING. We were joking that this is our Jonas weekend. Jonas spelled DJO.
See how funny it is? It's so funny. We also spent so much time together that we just spoke in sync. That is where we are at.
We spent the whole week. We've been together for a whole weekend. We put on our Instagram story, ask us anything, because we're going to have a 3.5 hour drive where we're just going to do whatever. We ended up just writing more of our sitcom.
Yeah, that's the entire drive was just us being, so we read over our notes that we outlined it and then we just riffed on it and we
wrote a whole plot and a whole part for Joe Keery.
Yes, we wrote a whole part where he's the typical upstairs neighbor.
We can't spoil it, but let me just tell you, this is an amazing part. Joe Keery, I know you listen to us. I know you do secretly.
Where else would he be?
And one day when we reach out to you about a sitcom and being on it, I think you'll really enjoy the experience.
So we listened through the album probably 6 times.
Yep, just today.
Just on repeat. That's all we listened to. We're well.
It's a great
It's album. A really fucking good album. If you have not listened to Decide by Joe, go listen right now.
Seriously, it's really
good. And if you don't like it, don't tell us.
And also listen to Lawrence. They're also amazing.
Lawrence is incredible. They're so good live too.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad because the vibes weren't in their favor.
No.
As an opener, but If you go see them as a headliner, amazing.
Really great.
Amazing.
Really great.
I met Gracie briefly once because
in the bathroom?
in the bathroom at the venue. I guess their green room didn't have a bathroom.
At the bar. I left my wallet in the bathroom bar.
That's a life.
Anyway.
Why did I say that like, that's a life?
That's a life.
The Italian really popped off there.
Yeah. Kat and I went to see Lawrence, and Kat met Gracie in the bathroom at the bar.
Yeah, because she was like, should I wear the skirt? And everyone was like, oh my God, yeah, girl, do it.
Do it. Wear the skirt.
And then I think she did. Love that for her.
I think she did.
What a great conversation.
We did not plug the Jonas Brothers. We said, listen to Lawrence, listen to Joe.
The Jonas Brothers, so before the concert starts, I go, I think the Jonas Brothers might show up. And then Abby goes, who's that? And I go, it's a band of 3 brothers. There's like, one of them is much better like in moral character, but not in talent.
Oh, God.
Anyways, we stand Kevin.
It was the most succinct roast of all time, and I died laughing. But the thing is, every time Kevin was like featured, I would literally just go, yeah, Kevin.
There was a girl in our section with the I Heart Kevin shirt on.
And I love that for her.
We stand.
Because Kevin had the least amount of close-ups. Like Nick
it's because he doesn't sing.
Yeah.
He harmonized on a couple of the older songs, but I think he just like singing. Joe and Nick have really strong singing voices.
They're really talented.
Really, really strong.
They're, like,
so I
really
think it's
good.
Just like Kevin was just like, I'll play the guitar.
Yeah, it was interesting though, because I'm not like the biggest Jonas Brothers stan. I know a lot of their older songs because who doesn't?
Yeah.
It was still a fun concert.
They played Camp Rock songs, which I guess they don't do.
That was special. They played Introducing Me and You're the voice I hear inside my head.
So that was really great.
It was a great night. We had coffee with friend of the podcast, Gabby, this afternoon.
We stand Gabby.
She's wonderful. And that was our weekend.
Yeah. And now we're here and we're going to talk about would've, could've, should've, and
Dear John.
So
I love how it took us a long time to get there. This episode, we're not going to get like too in depth into the sensitive topics that these songs may or may not bring up. But I mean, if you know the songs, you know.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. These are painful, emotional songs. Kat has told me several times that she's going to try to make me cry, and she will make me cry because would've, could've, should've. Like I cry listening to it.
It's so good. On the way down, before we went into our Joe spiral, we listened to would've, could've, should've, and just blasted it and just scream saying it.
I would also like to mention, because Spotify Wrapped came out this week.
Oh yeah,
and I think we're going to talk about that more in a later episode.
Yeah,
but Spotify Wrapped came out, and my top 3 Taylor Swift songs, You're on Your Own Kid, Yo-Yok was number 5. The first 4 were Joe, obviously. Yo-Yok was number 5. Taylor was my number 1 artist, I mean. And then Would've, Could've, Should've. And the third one was an equally devastating song. What was it?
Let me look.
I texted Kat my top 3.
Okay, so your top 3 were Yo-Yok, Midnight Rain, and Would've, Could've, Should've.
I was just sad.
And mine are I Can See You, Better Than Revenge, and Karma.
And if that doesn't describe the Aries versus Cancer energy and let's just like everything about us.
Also, my favorite thing is so Taylor was my top artist, but only like 8 or 9 of her songs made it in my top 100 because I just listened through albums of hers. Like I'll just sit down, like listen to Speak Now start to finish a bunch of times. So I rack up a lot of minutes, but then I hyperfixate on songs, and that's like my top 100 is just all the songs I hyperfixated on this year pretty much.
I rarely listen to albums all the way through. That's not usually how I do things. But I listen to Midnights all the way through a lot and Decide by Joe all the way through a lot. And also Joe is just like really great music for me to write papers to. And I write a lot of papers.
It's very it doesn't change a lot song to song.
Yeah.
It does, but like the vibes are similar song to song. So it's not like distracting.
There's something about it that just hits me in the neurodivergency and just like neutralizes whatever the heck is going on in here.
Yeah. There's so much going on with the production that it's like your brain is registering all of that. So you can't get distracted by anything else.
I don't know how
You've reached max like overwhelm in the brain.
I'm not a scientist.
I am. And the other thing is You're Losing Me is now on streaming.
Yeah. I manifested it.
And Jack Antonoff just casually dropped the full,
oh my goodness.
Somebody called it the full government date of when it was written. And that, there's a lot of speculation. I don't feel like getting into it.
No. But we did learn that it was written in 2021?
Yeah, so it's a True Vault track where she wrote it during the writing process
for
Midnights.
Yeah. And so that that can say some things. We're not going to talk about them.
We already covered You're Losing Me, so it's out.
Okay, so our songs, I feel like we just got to get the gigs out before we dive
because
in.
We're gonna
because it's they're serious. It's Dear John, Woulda, Coulda, Should've. Both songs that like hit you where it hurts.
True.
So, shall we?
We shall. Do we?
No, we got to spinner it. Oh wait, no, we decided not to spinner it.
We decided Abby's gonna go first.
Okay.
Just thematically, it makes more sense.
Okay, let me try this again. Dear John, I just spoke like I'm about to do like a meditation.
Imagine you go to meditate and then somebody just says the lyrics to Dear John.
Dear John.
But they just speak it. Dear John, don't
John.
you think I was too young?
The worst
I don't know why I have my hands out like
meditation of all time.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. So, Dear John, my first bullet point. Haha, ouch.
So true.
I feel like I just have to start off with a little jokey joke.
Just ouch, Taylor's version.
Ouch, Taylor's version. Okay. Dear John is track 5 off of Taylor's third studio album, Speak Now. It is the longest track 5 at 6 minutes 43 seconds, and it is the longest track on Speak Now. It was originally released October 25th, 2010, re-released with Speak Now TV on July 7th, 2023.
I was there.
I remember it all too well. I wasn't there for the original release. That's a personal connection thing. I didn't really listen to the song when it came out because I didn't really listen to Speak Now when it came out.
Fair enough.
I know this is a beloved song and a beloved track 5.
But it's also like a hard listen. Like it's not
It's a
like you
hard
don't
listen.
casually listen to Dear John.
No, you don't. And I think in terms of track 5s, I was reading a ranking. Most people rank this really high in terms of her track 5s. Like the one article I read, it was number 2 behind All Too Well. It wouldn't rank that high for me. That's not a discussion question, but
Yeah, I don't know how it would rank the track 5s. I don't want to say where it would rank because I don't know.
yeah, and we might do a ranking of track 5s eventually in the future.
Who's to say?
But this is a beloved song. This is a really powerful song, and a lot of people have very strong emotions related to this song.
So yeah.
It peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was performed at the Speak Now tour, accompanied by fireworks at the end for the line, "I'm shining like fireworks over your sad, empty town."
So good.
Yeah, I wish I had been there. I wish I
There's
remembered
videos
it all
of
too
it, and it's her doing the high note, and then this
I
fireworks
bet.
going
You know
off,
what? I
and she's in
probably
that
have
purple
seen it.
dress with the ponytail.
You probably showed it to me.
Probably.
Because in high school, Kat was a Speak Now girly.
I'm still a Speak Now girly.
It's also interesting because Kat's a Speak Now girly and I'm a Midnights girly. But Kat said, "Can I cover Would've, Could've, Should've?" And I went, yeah. But like, because I love Would've, Could've, Should've so much, obviously it's in my top 3 of this year's listening. But I'm glad you're covering it because I think I would have been too invested.
That's so real.
And also then I got to do a deep dive on this song and now I have more of an appreciation for it. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. In Minneapolis on the Eras Tour on June 24th, 2023, which is the day before my birthday.
Wow.
She performed it as a
Your
surprise
last
song.
day of being 25.
It was my last day of being 25. She performed Dear John. So there you go. Do with that what you will. In the liner notes for Speak Now, Taylor explained that every song on the album is an open letter to someone in her life, telling them what I meant to tell them in person, and noting that one song in particular is addressed to someone who made my world very dark for a while. People do speculate that this song is referencing that.
Yeah.
A Rolling Stone journalist talked to Taylor after this, because when this song came out, there was a lot of people, there was a controversy. A lot of people were just like, you are self-pitying, you're being a victim.
Yeah.
All this other stuff, you know, misogyny, all that.
As you do.
And a Rolling Stone journalist asked her about the track's mercilessness. And I love her response. She said, "In every one of my relationships, I've been good and fair. Chances are, if they're being written about in a way they don't like, it's because they hurt me really badly, and I don't think that's mean."
It's not mean, to be honest,
not.
like that. She's
It's
not
not
casually cruel in the name of being honest.
No.
She's
There's
just...
nothing casual about this.
No. This is very much like, I thought about it and get fucked.
Yeah, I think I just really love that quote so much. Don't be apologetic for your feelings. Don't be like, I must be overreacting. No, you're reacting. I hate the word overreacting.
Me too.
It's invalidating. I just wrote like, don't you think 19's too young to be messed with? Like she wrote this song and people are attacking her for it when she's literally the victim. Like she's hurt and people are attacking her for that. She's allowed to have feelings. And we talked about in our All Too Well episode how if she were to release the 10-minute version back then, it would have been received super poorly because of the way society has changed.
This is just proof.
Yeah, this is the same thing. So there's that.
I wonder if the poor reception of this is also part of the reason why she cut All Too Well down to like a 4-minute song.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people complain about it being too long, but it's already an emotional song. Might as well make it 1 billion years long. I don't care.
True.
Taylor did say whoever inspired her to write this also inspired The Story of Us. So those are connected. I will say this. I'll get this out of the way now. People think that the song is about John Mayer. People think that because it's called Dear John.
But also, Dear John letters are just a thing that people do to. Isn't it like to break up with people in the army? Like they call them Dear John letters.
Yes.
So
if it's about him, because they did date, like that's out. They did date. If it is about him, cool. Then that's a really cool play on words. If it's not about him, it's a Dear John letter. It's her letting him know that their relationship is over. And here's why. We talked a bit about the mixed bag reviews from critics. Oh my God, I'm such a sassy. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. One particular musician named John agreed with the latter. What? Thanks. Okay, anyway. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to point this out.
Okay.
Because John Mayer said that the song humiliated him, and he said it was cheap songwriting. He said that. It's documented. Taylor was asked in an interview about this, and she never denied or confirmed it, but she was like, this is a quote, and I love this. She went, "How presumptuous. I never disclose who my songs are about."
I love her. Queen.
There's a lot of other things that people connect to it. I'm not really going to focus on that in my podcast. But like, for example, the guitar riffs in Dear John are very reminiscent to ones that, like, the music, there's similarities there. Lots of other speculation about songs and projects they collaborated on together and the themes of the albums that came out at the times. You guys can look into that if you want. I found a lot of it on Wikipedia and on Genius, and I'm going to skim over it and not really talk about it. But if you want to look more into it, you can.
Go for it.
So
we don't care who this song is about. A bop is a bop.
A bop is a bop. It doesn't matter because it's not about their relationship. It's about me.
Literally.
But I think it's important just to be like, this song isn't just for Taylor. It's for anyone who relates to it, and it can be in a variety of different ways.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, with Taylor's even said about her songs, it's like, stop trying to figure out what they're about. Like, just relate them to yourselves in whatever way. And that's what they're about. Sure.
Exactly. So now for the lyrical analysis. The first line, "Long were the nights when my days once revolved around you." So the nights were long because she's thinking so much about him and the time that they spend together during the day. And for "my days revolved around you," is that like her decision or his? Like, was she the one that was super infatuated, as happens often in the relationship, or is this other person like, when you spend time with me, it's going to revolve around me?
I think it could be both.
Could be both, for sure.
I always like thought of that line as like, because his moods and stuff would change so often that she like found herself constantly having to like read him so that she knew what mood he was in, so that so like everything revolved around understanding where he's at so that she doesn't upset him.
That makes sense, especially with like future lines about games and things like that where he changes the rules. So yeah,
every day.
Also that. "Counting my footsteps, praying the floor won't fall through again."
Damn, it's so good.
This is another song where every line I could say a million things about.
Literally.
She's walking on eggshells. She's hoping to impress him and be what he wants her to be. "A lovely jewel whose shine reflects on you," if we want to quote All Too Well.
But also the floor won't fall through again. Like, she's hesitant because she knows how he is.
Because it happens again. It's another tumultuous relationship. Also, she's praying. Like, here's a use of the word praying. And we've talked before in other episodes about her use of the word like God and just talking about religion. And so I just thought it was important.
I talk about that a lot. Don't worry, we'll get into it.
Oh, great. Yeah, trauma at the church.
Mine's the church part, both the trauma part.
We both got trauma. Okay. "And my mother accused me of losing my mind, but I swore I was fine."
Mama Swift is always right.
Mama Swift is always right.
Every single time that she has an opinion that Taylor repeats in a song, she's right.
Yeah.
"Now that we don't talk, the best day."
And I think moms know. Like, I've been in situations where I've talked to my mom about someone that I'm seeing, and she's like, "You deserve better."
Yep.
And my friends too. And it gets to the point where, but you're still pulled into the relationship. And so then you feel like you can't share the good parts or the bad parts with anyone in your life because they're just going to judge you.
Yeah.
And it's a really
hard balance to be in, like having friends who are dating people that you know are shitty. And I mean, I've dated someone that was shitty and everybody in my life was like waiting for me to break up with them. Mm-hmm. And like when you break up with them and you feel ashamed about it and then you go to someone and everybody's just like, no, dude, like we're here for you. We're glad you got out. Like, I don't care how long it took. You're fine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It can be really hard to see a loved one dating someone that you know isn't right.
Yeah. Because you have to sit back and let them get there on their own.
In the end,
like you can point stuff out, but like, yeah,
they're gonna stay or go on their own timeline. For me, it's like I'm seeing someone, and when I complain about them or I complain about something that upset me with someone I love, and they tell me that like that sucks, you shouldn't have to deal with that. But they don't see all the good parts of the relationship. Like they don't know because they're not in it. And that's the viewpoint that you have, especially when you're 19.
Oh my God.
You paint me a blue sky, then go back and turn it to rain. I wrote a comparison to I Made You My Temple, My Mural, My Sky from Tolerate It. Ooh. And then also I do a lot of comparisons to I Knew You Were Trouble. And I think I wouldn't have done this if we hadn't talked about I Knew You Were Trouble last week. But like when I fell hard, you took a step back. And how this song, Dear John, is kind of the more emotional, serious version of I Knew You Were Trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's a very similar thing where he's playing with her emotions. Yeah. But in that one, she's angry and she's angry with herself. And this one, she's just sorrowful.
Yeah. I feel like this is Fool Me Once, Shame on You. And then I Knew You Trouble is Fool Me Once, Fool Me Twice, Shame on Me.
I just got so many chills. Kat, you're a
I'm
genius.
gonna make Abby cry before I even get to what have, could have, should have. Check it off early. She's not crying yet.
Not crying. I'll get there though. There's still time.
There's still time.
I lived in your chess game, but you change the rules every day. That's like what we talked about before. Again, he's setting rules. She's following them. She's doing it, and then he's like, haha, and he's changing them. It's an unattainable standard.
And that's like a classic manipulation thing of like making you feel like you're crazy all the time for not understanding exactly what they want. Mm-hmm. Boo.
Also, if you make a comparison to Lover, where she says, this is our house, we make the rules, and how that's a much healthier dynamic.
Yeah.
So we make the rules instead of you do.
Yes.
Wondering which version of you I might get on the phone tonight. I love this line because there's something about when you're dealing with someone who can just change on a dime. Mm-hmm. And I just have this in like, specifically in some toxic relationships where you can have people that are very sweet and loving one day and very bitter, manipulative, not good on other days. Yep. And you never know which one it's going to be. And it's one of those things where it's like, if he were to call, if I were to see his name on the phone, is it going to be him being angry with me? Did I do something wrong? Or is he going to just be like normal? Is he going to want to just talk to his girlfriend?
Exactly.
And then
it's like you're off balance because you don't know. And then eventually when you get to the point where the good can't outweigh the bad, you write Dear John.
Yes. Well, I stopped picking up, and this song is to let you know why. It's meta.
Ghost. Taylor Swift said, ghost your shitty boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I support that message.
She said, I've moved on. I'm setting a boundary. I'm writing a song about you. Here's why I did that. Here's why. I'm about to tell the world.
This is like the best because like when you ghost someone that's like shitty and just like block them, you don't get to explain yourself, obviously, because like that's kind of the part of the power of it. But this song, she got her cake and she ate it too. Absolutely. She's like, I am ghosting you, and also here's exactly all of your flaws. Incredible.
Amazing. Dear John, I see it all now that you're gone. Again, I Knew You Were Trouble, now I see. And then also just a comparison to I Can See You, which is a vault track in Speak Now. Just, I don't know, they both say see.
I see.
Also, I had to give a shout out to the song Happiness for When I'm Above the Trees. I see this for what it really is, but now I'm right down in it, which is just so real. Like once you're removed from the situation and look back, you see how messed up it was.
Yeah, it makes sense once you have distance, but when you're in it, you can't see the forest through the trees.
Yep. Don't you think I was too young to be messed with? I just wrote, oh, okay, shit. No thoughts, only ouch. And then I wrote, okay, maybe one thought. What is wrong with me? I didn't have to type my whole thought process.
But you did, and I love that for you.
But I did. She's realizing that the age gap was wrong in hindsight. He had power, and she was young.
Yeah.
So it's, again, like now she sees. The girl in the dress cried the whole way home. It's the opposite of Enchanted, where she's blushing the whole way home in her dress, I'm assuming. I know, I'm so sorry.
That's how that makes me feel.
I know, it sucks. It sucks. He sucks.
He sucks.
I should have known, once again, putting blame on herself, which is another I knew you were trouble parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, maybe it's me and my blind optimism to blame.
She's about to do the thing.
Wait, what?
Maybe it's my fault, maybe it's your fault, maybe it's our fault.
Yeah.
She's about to do the thing. She loves to do this thing.
Yeah, that's true. This is the thing. The thing TM.
The thing TM that she does in All Too Well and in Forever and Always and in Dear John.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll find more as we keep going through her discography.
Oh, absolutely. And this is, again, trying to find blame. And she's blaming herself. Maybe it's you and your sick need to give love and take it away. So it is like, maybe it's me, maybe it's you. Maybe it's a situation. Like, she doesn't really know. She's thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And she believes the best in people, her blind optimism. And it's because she's young. When you're young, you don't know. You don't know what it's like to get burned. You believe that people are good, and you don't know
because
why
there are
people
good
you.
people.
Yes, yes.
Especially when you're a good person.
Yeah.
You expect other people to think the way that you think. And we know Taylor's whole worldview is formed by her like wanting people to like her. Mm-hmm. So she tries to be a good person all the time.
And it's like, why would anyone hurt me? I only try to do the right thing and be good.
Exactly.
And it's just really confusing when you're growing up to realize that not everyone's going to be good to you all the time.
Not everyone's going to be good. And people will also use the fact that you're good against you, like to hurt you. Mm-hmm. They'll take advantage of your blind optimism.
Yeah. Yeah. Your sick need to give love and take it away. Once again, like the push and pull, like when I fell hard, you took a step back, like people that play with your emotions, all that jazz. And you'll add my name to your long list of traitors. And I just thought of the line, you dream of my mouth before it called you a lying traitor from Is It Over Now? Because like the word traitor, that's a big one. And yeah. I think I didn't look up on Tumblr whether or not that's used more than twice, but one stood out to me.
I feel like that connects.
Yeah. But this line is very much like, she's just another crazy ex to him.
Yeah.
And that's so common. When you're dating a guy and he talks about his crazy exes,
it's a red flag.
Red flag.
The odds are she's not crazy.
Yep. And one day you're going to be on the list.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Mm-hmm. Just letting you guys know if you're dealing with that, that's how it works every time.
It's so rare for a crazy ex-girlfriend to actually be crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's another lesson. You can take it from us.
Take it from us.
I look back and regret how I ignored when they said run as fast as you can. So again, the loved ones being like, go. And now
like everybody else, because like certain people have, reputations for like being heartbreakers or players and stuff. And like you think you're going to be the one to fix them.
Sure.
And spoiler alert, you probably won't be.
Yeah. Also,
it only happens in rom-coms.
I know. I'm watching a lot of rom-coms recently.
It's holiday season.
Yeah. And yeah, sometimes you just got to live in that world, but it's not like that. It's not like that in real life.
It sure isn't.
Sorry. So regret is a really big word.
Yeah.
And she uses it a couple of times. And sometimes she uses it in like folklore. She uses it a few times as characters that aren't supposed to be representative of her. Like this song she wrote about her own experience. Castles Crumbling, Here I Sit Alone Behind Walls of Regret, off the same album, Speak Now. It's a vault track. And then most notably, I Regret You All the Time, and Would've, Could've, Should've, which I'm sure Kat is going to go over in depth. But again, that word of regret and how powerful it is and how it's said in both of these songs.
So good.
Okay. So she changes in the second chorus, don't you think 19's too young? And that's where she drops the age of 19. Mm-hmm. I wrote yoinks. I don't know why I wrote yoinks. 19 is a wild age because it's like 18, you just became an adult, you're a bit rebellious. 19, you start learning some hard lessons.
Yeah. Because 19 is probably one of the hardest years of my life.
It's really tough.
It's really tough. Not like last week where like being 15 sucks, but wait till you're 19. It gets so much worse.
But wait, there's more. 23.
For reference, we both were 23 in 2020. I turned 23 10 days after the world shut down.
Yeah. And also Lawrence has a song about how much it sucks to be 23.
And so does Renee Rapp.
Yeah.
Nobody likes being 23.
Okay. So anyway, 19 sucks and it is too young to be messed with. Too young. But yeah, 19 was rough for me, rough for Kat, rough for a lot of people.
Rough for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, rough for Taylor.
Rough for Tegan and Sarah.
For sure. Okay. Oh my gosh, we've reached the bridge. Oh no, we've reached the Dear John Bridge.
The bridge.
Okay. You are an expert at sorry and keeping lines blurry. Oh. It's like, it's so casual. Again, casually cruel. We're going to talk about that a lot. It's not even like, I'm sorry. It doesn't seem genuine because he's also an expert at it. So he's done it a lot of times.
Exactly. You can't be sorry genuinely that many times.
This is
if you keep making the same mistakes and the same things over and over again, you're not sorry. You're manipulative.
I can't believe you just stole my mic drop line.
Was that your exact? I'm so sorry.
An apology without change is manipulation.
Brain cell ping pong da 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 da. And that's sorry, I stole your thing.
You really did. You got there.
You can cut mine out.
No.
No, you can have it.
No, it's just that like that's something that I don't know if I learned it in therapy or in therapy school or where I learned it, but like that's so true. If someone's apologizing to you for the same thing multiple times, it's not an apology.
Yeah, it's not.
It's them trying to get you to stay by saying I will change and then knowing that they're not going to. Mm-hmm. Again, with keeping...
It's like love bombing, too.
It is like love bombing, yeah. Because maybe he changes for a little bit and then he goes back to his old ways.
It's like a really classic like abuse cycle thing. Is like abuse happens, love bombing happens, abuse happens, and it just that's like how the cycle works.
Sure.
High, low.
And also with keeping lines blurry, it's one of those things, people keep things vague and like non-committal or so that there's more leeway to be like, well, I didn't do anything wrong because we never specifically said such and such.
Yeah.
That can happen. And maybe that's not what they're referencing in this song, but like the term situationship where it's like, I didn't cheat on you because we're not officially dating, or like keeping those lines blurry because then he never can like has to say he did something wrong. He broke a rule.
It's like, I didn't cheat on you. We weren't official.
And he's changing the rules.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't matter. That's frustrating. In school for mental health counseling, we talk a lot about ambiguity and how difficult it is to just deal with uncertainty. And it's like she doesn't understand. She's uncertain. She's living in the ambiguity. She doesn't know what he means, what she means to him. She doesn't know what the relationship is. It's very confusing and very frustrating. Never impressed by me acing your tests. We talked about that earlier. It doesn't matter how hard she works to pass all the tests, to do all the things he wants her to do, because it never matters.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated just saying these words.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. Ugh. All the girls that you've run dry have tired, lifeless eyes because you burned them out.
Because all of them are the same kind of people that she is, where like they're trying so hard to impress him, so hard to ace his tests, and they just burn themselves out on this relationship.
Because they're nice and understanding and they see the best in people.
And empathetic people can like so easily be emotionally burned out because people again take advantage of it.
And it sucks, man.
Ugh.
And it's also saying that this is a pattern. He's done this before. Like, and I knew you were trouble. It's the same thing. It's a pattern. Like,
you can't change them.
Nope. Absolutely not. Okay.
But you sure can try. Please don't. Please don't do that.
Oh gosh. I mean, I did. So who am I to say don't, you know?
Who did you change?
No. I tried.
Oh. I was like, did you succeed?
I didn't.
Same.
Okay. Would we laugh about our trauma? It's fine.
That's where the exclamation point comes in.
Right.
Trauma.
It might be worth for what?
For trauma. For those listening at home, I did a little cheerleading mode. But
I took your matches before fire could catch me. Wow. Okay. Well, firstly, I just want to say that in the Better Revenge re-record, when she says she was the moth. No.
He was a moth to a flame. She was holding the matches. Whoa.
Okay. So
that was obviously written later.
Yeah, it was written later. I'm just pointing that out because they both mentioned flames and being caught on fire
and matches.
Matches. Okay.
But also then in this,
I swear to God, if you say my note again. No,
you go first. I have another matches thing. Are you saying another matches thing?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I was going to say in Better Than Revenge, she's saying that the other girl is like manipulative and she's holding the matches.
Yeah.
So Dear John is holding the matches.
That's
and she's
true.
the moth to the flame.
True.
Just like us, the moth to the flame. We're the moth. The flame is people who don't like us.
Yep. We're flying. We're fluttering our little mothy wings.
We're on our way.
I took your matches before fire could catch me. She didn't burn out like the other girls. She survived.
Yes.
And like how freaking powerful that is. This note continues, but I do just want to point out that I wrote, let Kat talk about how brilliant this line is.
I already did that.
You already did it.
I did kind of steal your note then.
Check. Yeah, it's true. Okay. So don't look now. She survived, but she doesn't want him to get any credit for it or even look at her. And in All Too Well, she is pleading for him to remember her, to remember the relationship. But in this one, she wants him to know that she's better off without him, and he's shitty, and that's that. And don't look at me. You are not responsible for me shining like fireworks over your sad, empty town. Like, she took his matches and became something beautiful over his sad, empty town. And like, she overpowered him. She's telling him not to look because she didn't do this because of him. She did it despite him.
Yes. He wanted to use her light to light his shitty town, and instead she used it to light up how shitty his town was.
Yeah. It's just so powerful.
Oh, I got chills.
Yeah. And then I just wrote, also, his town is sad and empty. LMAO, sick burn.
I'm obsessed with that.
And then for the right after that, I just wrote those vocal riffs. OMG, they're so good.
And then because like the Speak Now tour, that's part. She's wearing the purple A-line dress with the iconic like ponytail with the curls, and in the visual, it's kind of shot like from the same angle as My Tears Ricochet, where it's kind of from below, and she's like doing her like high note thing that she does, where she like.
Sure.
She tips her head back and like the fireworks are going out behind her. It's so good.
I bet it's good.
I'm going to have to send you the link for it.
Yeah. So she goes through the chorus again. For the last two lines, the girl in the red dress wrote you a song you should have known. Okay. I have a lot to say about this.
I'm ready.
Having you should have known instead of I should have known as the final line is so powerful.
Oh, it's so good.
Because she changed the blame from herself to him. She has recognized now that she is the victim here. She's thought about it. Now she sees, and you should have known. Another way to interpret this. She ends this by saying he should have known that she would write a song about him.
Yes.
Because like at this point, she was known for writing songs about people.
Yeah.
All the way from Teardrops on My Guitar. Like that's what she was known for at the time.
And she was also kind of known for name dropping.
Yeah.
Drew and Teardrops on My Guitar.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven.
So like you should have known. And then I also just made a quick comparison to I Bet You Think About Me with Oh My God, She's Insane. She wrote a song about me.
I love that.
Because like you should have known. One, you should have known that it was messed up to date me. Two, you should have known that if you were going to mess with me, this would happen and that's your karma. I
have one more why.
Go for it.
You should have known that I would survive you.
I made her cry. No, there's no tears yet.
They're shining.
My heart stopped, but it's okay.
I love that. For anybody who's listening, Abby just fully turned away from her mic and like curled up a little bit. Like she went into like a contraction.
I just like
she went as close to the fetal position as she could without like moving more than a foot.
You like my body took a screenshot. It did. Oh man. Okay. Wow. It's so powerful.
So good.
This song is so powerful. So anyway, discussion question.
I'm ready, maybe.
Okay. So Taylor, at 20 years old, wrote and put out a song called Dear John, which she knew people might link with an actual other famous musician, despite the way it completely obliterates said muse. Would you have had the balls to do this?
When I was 20, yeah. Now, no. Huh. But like when you're like 19, 20, or at least when I was, I would like openly shit talk people knowing it would get back to them. So like I would have done this when I was like 20 if I had had this level of platform. For sure.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. I don't know if I would have done it. Because I'm terrified of being disliked.
That's fair enough.
Which is why I didn't really pursue music I was told that's why I'm not a famous musician, guys, because I'm so afraid that I'll get so famous people won't like me.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That's the only thing stopping you.
But when I was like 20, 21 years old, I wrote some scathing songs about someone that I was dating. I played them for people. They knew who it was about and played them for him. He knew
and I
what
love
it was
that
about.
for you.
And I think in hindsight now as a 26-year-old, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. But at the time it worked.
But that's what it is.
It is what it is.
You're young. Okay.
That's all.
That's Dear John.
Whew.
We made it through. Take a deep breath. Text my mom back. Text your mom.
Would've, could've, should've. We'll just jump right in. This is track 19 on Midnights.
I must have known that.
It's so good.
I got chills anyway.
On the Midnights 3 a.m. version. So this is a bonus track. It's so good. I love that she made it 19. It's not 19 on every version of it, but on the original 3 a.m. it is. So it's this song and then Dear Reader, and then the album's done. This was written and produced by Taylor and Aaron Dessner. I believe that they've talked before about how they wrote this right after the 2021 Grammys, where she won the Grammy for Folklore Album of the Year. Wikipedia describes it as a new wave leaning soft rock song. I don't know if I like that, but that's what it is. I guess.
I don't know how I describe it. It's just painful.
I describe it as ouch.
I describe it as pain.
Yeah. It peaked at number 20 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 21 on the Billboard Global 200, and charted in Canada, the Philippines, Portugal, Sweden, and Vietnam.
As well it should have. It should have. It would have. It did.
Yeah. And it was ranked on a multitude of year-end lists of the best songs of 2022. Business Insider put it as the best song of 2022.
Okay.
Business Insider, I don't know why they were doing a song ranking, but I love that for them.
I accept this. I think if Spotify counted my Midnights listening in the tail end of 2022. Yeah,
like Rolling Stone put it 59th. Interesting. I'm like, what's the other 58 songs that you think are better than this that came out in 2022? Terms of performance history, this has been performed one time on May 7th, 2023 in Nashville, Tennessee, with guest Aaron Dessner. That she was playing guitar, he was playing guitar. Another song, Lost, the Yellow Dress. She plays a lot when she's wearing the orange thing and then the orange crop top shorts and then the yellow dress. We lose a lot of good songs. She called it like the rainiest of rain shows, I believe. It was delayed for 3 hours because of the torrential downpour and thunderstorms, and fans were like in the stadium, like in the concourse, just everybody, because you couldn't be in your seats because it was raining so hard and it was thundering and lightning. So it got delayed like 3 hours. But she still went on and she finished close to 1:30 in the morning. So I remember when we lost this song as a surprise song, I was just like, you know what? They deserved it. Because it was like, it stopped raining. She started the show. And then during the red set, it just started downpouring again, but she finished it out.
Wow.
And then the surprise song this was paired with was Mine.
Oh.
Right?
Huh.
I know.
I can't think of a single thing those two songs have in common. Thematically, lyrically, sonically.
I don't know.
Spiritually.
She connected them.
Wow.
Who knows?
Both bangers, so.
Both bangers. For my personal connection notes, I just go, we don't have time to unpack all of that. I go, let's just say that in some ways I relate to the song, in some ways I don't.
Yeah.
My overall interpretation, lyrical analysis of the song is this song compares the end of a painful and toxic relationship to a crisis of religious faith. And some people also say that this song is about Taylor's relationship with fame in the entertainment industry, which I think is an interpretation. I think that it's more of a, like, it could be both.
I got chills thinking about it, so that's something.
Which we love. Okay. We're diving in. It's lyric time. I don't know why I'm out of breath. If you would have blinked, then I would have looked away at the first glance. Like, it just so it opens on this kind of like childish idea of like a staring contest of like if they had been staring. And also sometimes when you're like looking at someone, you're like, don't lie to me, you like make direct eye contact because people who are lying will like sometimes look away. Like that's kind of like a psychological thing. So it's like he looked at her and he didn't flinch and he didn't blink and like said, you know, whatever he said, and she believed it. So she didn't look away at the first glance because she believed him.
I don't know if I've ever thought of it that way ever in my life.
I honestly don't know that I had before I was writing this out.
Wait, I have to think about this for a second. If you would have blinked, then I would have looked away at the first glance. I don't know how else I interpreted it. I think it was just like I was thinking about like the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have to start, like it could have happened so fast you could have just passed me by and this never would have happened. I think is how I always thought of it. That's so interesting.
If you tasted poison, then you could have spit me out at the first chance. So if he thought that she was bad for him, he could have ended things instead of making her miserable enough to leave, like she does in Dear John. If it was some paint, did it splatter? So in Dear John, pay me a blue sky, go back and turn it to rain. So I'm highlight like the splatter specifically is like he was painting the weather, changing the scenery, and her taking control and leaving reflected badly on him and surprised him. So he splattered the paint on himself because, you know, he's sitting there painting the sky gray and she's just like fireworks. And then it splatters on him and he doesn't have control of the situation anymore. So did it splatter on a promising grown man? So like also like the idea of like a promising person, like promising young man is usually what you say.
Yep.
The idea that you shouldn't like talk about people's abuse because it's like it'll ruin their future. Like the boys will be boys mentality, that whole thing. But it's like this is an adult and he's done this before and he's going to keep doing it. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I talk about the pattern of behavior that you keep doing over and over? My bad. Like, and if I was a child, did it matter? So I think it's really interesting how this line situates her as a naive child, even though she was technically an adult, like 19.
Yeah.
But in this situation that she's talking about, she feels like a child. And I feel like it also kind of is looking down on the idea that like legal equals morally correct, because people who have those like countdowns for female celebrities to turn 18, like that is just because, oh, like now they're 18, now I can sexualize them, but you wanted to before, and that is gross.
Yeah, it's what is the birthday, like what does the exact date have to really do with anything with their maturity? It's not like overnight you change.
Exactly. And like when you're like 18, 19, you still in some ways are holding on to your like childish views of the world because you're, for most people, like still kind of getting out in the world and seeing how things really work. And then, so did it matter if you got to wash your hands? So washing your hands, like colloquially, it's like being done with something, like you wash your hands, you're clean of it. You're no longer thinking about it or associating with it. But Genius pulled this Bible reference because there is a lot of like religious subtext in this. So the origins of the meaning come from the New Testament of the Bible. When the crowd condemns Jesus Christ to death, Pontius Pilate, I went Bible, Pontius, it looks like Pilates without the S.
Okay.
Like
I can't help.
Pontius Pilates.
Oh no.
Washes his hand to symbolize that he is innocent and cannot be held accountable for his own actions. So it does, like, this common phrase actually does have like biblical roots. So I mean, she does a lot of connections to religion in this, which I will keep getting into.
I'm also just, if I was a child, did it matter? That in itself can be taken many ways, because she can be asking earnestly, or she could be being sassy about it. I just love how there's a couple different ways you can take pretty much all these lines.
Mm-hmm. And then I didn't know where else to put this comment because it just kind of repeats a lot. But in the pre-chorus, they say would have, could have, should have for the first time. So I just wanted to point out that in the song, she uses would have and could have in the verses and would have again in the chorus, but she never says should have in the song except in the phrase would have, could have, should have, because this song is a sister song to Dear John, and all of the should haves are in Dear John.
I'm about to take another screenshot. Okay.
So that song holds the should haves, and this song holds the could have, would haves.
Okay. Hold on. I'm holding.
Pre-chorus, oh, all I used to do was pray and the floor won't fall through. But also this idea of like growing up, like this song as kind of like comparing like loss of religion, loss of relationship. Like she grew up praying and believing that like her faith would see her through. And this relationship like just was so monumentally bad that it just like caused a complete just like breakdown of her belief system. So again, would have, could have, should have, the should haves in Dear John, and also in Bigger Than the Whole Sky, she says what could have been, would have been, what should have been you.
Yeah.
I didn't put any extra notes about that because I didn't want to think about Bigger Than the Whole Sky because that song is so sad.
Very valid. And I have thoughts about it, but maybe we can hold those until
whenever we cover that.
Yep.
So if you'd never looked my way, and then right in the chorus, I would have stayed on my knees. So obviously like when you're praying, you're like on your knees praying. But she would have stayed on her knees praying, but instead she's being preyed upon by this grown man.
Yeah, every time you say pray on, I always think you're saying like pray. That I'm praying
with an A, not an E.
An A, not an E.
And I damn sure never would have danced with the devil. So, dancing with the devil, doing things she knows aren't good for her in the long run, but she's doing them anyways because they feel good and fun in the moment. And like you think that you know better. You think that like I can dance with the devil and be fine.
Also, the word damn, like using damn in a biblical or religious context.
Yeah.
It has like a meaning to it.
Damnation.
Yeah.
At 19, paralleling Dear John, don't you think 19's too young? And I just wrote, yeah, it is.
It is.
The God's honest truth is that the pain was heaven. So a handful of Taylor's songs mention heaven. So I pulled a couple relevant ones. So False God, I know heaven's a thing. I go there when you touch me, honey. Hell is when I fight with you. So the good is really good. The bad things get romanticized, even though they're really bad because they get caught up with the good things. Cruel Summer, no rules and breakable heaven. Heaven is breakable. It's not a sure thing. It's fragile.
Interesting how heaven has no rules and the relationship that she's in has rules that change all the time.
Oh, shit. Shit. I didn't think of that. I love that. Blank space, magic, madness, heaven, sin. Heaven is viewed in this conflicting way as contrasting and paralleling these other negative and positive things. It's in league with them, not better or worse than them. Just, we love the pain was heaven. And now that I'm grown, I'm scared of ghosts.
Oh. You haven't said anything. I'm already like this because this is one of the parts of the song.
This line just perfectly captures the PTSD that you get from toxic relationships when you're younger. You grow up and you know the mistakes that you made and they linger like ghosts and they're ready to haunt you whenever you see any warning signs, imagined or real, in your current or future relationships. Because it can really be detrimental because you see like something small that reminds you of an ex, and even if your current partner isn't doing that, you're on suddenly like high alert back into this shitty relationship that changed your worldview and changed how you viewed relationships and other people.
I have a theory / other possible interpretation that I've always had of this song. I don't know when to bring it up. I suppose now's the time. I'm wondering if she's talking about the relationship at 19, this whole song, or if she's saying something that happened before then affected her so much. And if it hadn't, I never would have danced with the devil at 19. And I think about that a lot. Just people who deal with such terrible things growing up and how that can affect their future relationships when they become adults.
Yeah. Memories feel like weapons.
I love this line.
Paralleling happiness. When did all our lessons start to look like weapons pointed at my deepest hurt? But also like the idea that memories are weapons, but she doesn't clarify who those weapons are being used against, whether they're being used against her or about her ex-partner who inflicted this damage. I'll get a little bit more into that in the second verse.
I'm also thinking about how she said that Midnights a lot of the time was written about sleepless nights. And now that she's grown, she's scared of ghosts. Like when it's at night and you're scared of these ghosts that haunt you, the memories that haunt you and how they feel like weapons, because like when you're restless at night and you're thinking about these horrible things that have happened and they just haunt you like ghosts.
Something really good.
Uh-oh.
In Haunting of Hill House, Steve Crane, who's the writer, says that a lot of times a ghost is a wish.
It's a wish.
So it's what you wish would have happened, what could have happened,
could have,
should have happened. This ghost of who it would have, could have, should have been. Yes, I got to bring in Haunting of Hill House. I fucking love that show.
And I've taken my third screenshot of the evening.
No tears yet, though.
There's time.
We got time.
We got the bridge.
And now that I know, I wish you'd left me wondering. I compared this to a Greek myth, Pandora's box, which the idea of Pandora's box is Pandora had this box that they said never open it. And when she opened it, it released all these terrors into the world, like anxiety, some other things. So the one thing, she closed the box in time. The one thing that she kept in there was foreboding. So like not knowing the future. Cause like the idea is that like if that had gotten out, then like life would have felt meaningless. Cause if you know how everything's going to end, then like what's the point in doing anything now? Cause it's inevitable. So it's the one horror of the world that humans were quote unquote spared. But now instead of knowing the future, we have to live through it and understand it only as the past.
It also makes me think of, if we're talking less literary, this is why I love your takes, because I'm always just like, wow, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was too busy thinking about me.
That's fair enough.
Not Pandora.
I read the Greek myth of Pandora's box when I was 19.
Wow.
In
Easter egg. I wish you'd left me wondering. She's putting blame on him for teaching her these things.
For starting this whole relationship. She's like, this is on you, man.
The blame finger. Also, okay, another thing we learned in therapy school. I heard a lot my first semester, when you point at someone, there's one finger pointing forwards and 3 pointing towards yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there you go.
Dang. So you got to point at people with your whole hand.
Point with, just like this. This is how we point.
Point like a Barbie doll, and it's never your fault, kids. That's what we learned from today's episode.
And Barbie.
It's never Barbie's fault.
Never.
On
how did we get there? Okay.
Anyway,
back in it.
Verse 2. If you never touched me, I would have gone along with the righteous. Another false god parallel. I know heaven's a thing. I go there when you touch me. So she's being lured by this false god into abandoning capital G God. He tricked her with a false heaven, and she would have gone along with the righteous, but she couldn't because she was tricked into opening Pandora's box. If I never blushed, then they could have never whispered about this. So part of her naivety let their relationship become public, not knowing that the whispers about them together would haunt her for years, never letting her fully forget about this traumatic relationship. If you never saved me from boredom. So Genius made a parallel between this and the common saying, idle hands are the devil's playground. So because she was like bored, he was able to like use that boredom and create, something that her nights and days revolved around.
Yeah.
But not in a good way.
Yeah. And once again, like I could have gone on as I was, but now I can't. Like this changed her.
Yes. You made me feel important, and then you tried to erase us. So he tried to erase her and their relationship from his own memory, but the whispers don't just follow her. She can't forget him, and she's going to make damn sure that he can't forget her either. Genius also pointed out a parallel between this line and Story of Us, which is allegedly about the same person. In that song, she hopes that they'll reconnect, but instead he just ignores her and doesn't acknowledge her existence. So he's trying to erase her and move away from it. Pre-chorus, we got a little lyric shift. You're a crisis of my faith. And Half of My Heart by John Mayer featuring Taylor Swift. The third verse goes, your faith is strong, but I can only fall short for so long. Down the road later on, you will hate that I never gave more to you than half my heart, but I can't stop loving you. I'm just going to leave that there. And then also the crisis of my faith, Taylor is pointing out that she was led astray from her faith, and this again paralleling like her faith in the world and her faith in love, just being her entire worldview being put into crisis because of the way that she was treated in this relationship.
Yeah.
If I'd only played it safe.
Taking the jump and then being so terribly like upset and hurt, like facing the consequences.
Exactly. And the first pre-chorus is if you'd never looked my way, and this one is if I had only played it safe. So it's like that one is if you hadn't started this and if I also hadn't gone for it.
Here we go with the blame.
Then chorus is exactly the same.
Maybe it's
here.
you. Maybe it's me.
Exactly.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
And now the bridge. Are you ready?
I'm dissociating, so sure.
Don't do that. I want you to cry.
Okay. Resociating. I'm ready.
God rest my... I have a note for pretty much every line in this bridge.
I'm ready.
So, God rest my soul. When someone dies, you say, God rest their soul. And here Taylor feels like she's died. She thought she went to heaven, not knowing that the false heaven would kill her in the end. She's saying, God rest my soul. I miss who I used to be. And all too well, trying to be my old self again, but I'm still trying to hide it.
Find it.
I was looking at a different word.
I get it.
And then in Bejeweled, I can reclaim the land. This idea that she's not the same person she was before this relationship. Pandora's box is open. She saw the way the world really works, and she can never go back to believing the things that she believed before. The tomb won't close. She wants this to die. She wants her soul to rest. She wants to rest in peace, but the tomb won't close. The rot won't stay contained and hidden anymore. The dead won't stay dead. The ghosts follow her. Stained glass windows in my mind. Love this line so much. All right, this is a good note, I think, from what I remember. Her whole worldview, her memories, everything is viewed through the filter of these windows. Even if she isn't looking out the stained glass windows, the light inside her mind, her church, is turned these different colors. Outside looking in, her thoughts seem more beautiful than they are because the stained glass makes them seem poetic and beautiful when in reality it's a bleak, painful experience.
It's a rose-colored glasses type situation.
Exactly.
I also just love like her mind is her church because that's where her entire belief system is, and that's what religion is and spirituality. It's finding meaning. It's having belief system. And when your world is shattered, like, yeah,
it's so good. I regret you all the time. So many times, like, we look back on things when, life starts going well and you say like, I would go back and do it all the same if like I had to endure all that hurt to be happy now. But here she's saying, I regret it all the time. She was so hurt. There was no lesson, no road to happiness, no silver lining. It was just painful. Like maybe it was necessary, but I wouldn't do it again. Can't let this go. I fight with you in my sleep. Why did I write this note in all caps? I'm not going to yell it. I just wrote, what a way to describe having dreams about an ex and not even being able to escape the pain when you're unconscious. I love her.
Yeah.
I fight with you in my sleep. Like, the wound won't close because the tomb won't stay closed. The wound won't close. She can't heal from this because the wound is still bleeding because People won't let her forget about this. I keep on waiting for a sign because she wants to heal. She wants to move on. She wants to let go of this hurt. And she's looking for a sign from God, from the world, from anything that things will get better. But she doesn't get the sign. She's waiting for this symbol, something that's going to tell her things are going to be okay. And she never gets it. And so she's still sitting with that regret because she can't heal.
I'm waiting for it.
This is technically verse 3 and not continued part of the bridge, according to Genius.
Oh,
I don't know if that's correct. If clarity's in death, then why won't this die? She's trying to close the tomb. She wants to let her soul rest, but this won't die. She's fatally wounded, but like Prometheus cursed to an eternity of getting part of his liver eaten by an eagle, she heals just to have the wound reopened again and again and again. It won't die, and she can't get the closure that you get with distance and healing because she's still in it, still trying to escape.
Yeah. It's like, it's pleading for any of it to make sense. It's like, if I know that if this dies, then everything will make sense again. There's a Dodie lyric. I promise you it'll all make sense again. And I almost had that tattooed on me. She just wants that to happen so badly. She wants that clarity, but it's not happening. She's just going to be ruminating and cycling through this for, who knows how long.
All the time.
All the time.
Years of tearing down our banners, you and I. So she spent years trying to distance herself from this person, trying to remove the reminders of the two of them. But every time she thinks she has them all, another one pops up. If she never blushed, maybe the whispers and the banners wouldn't be everywhere to remind her of this painful relationship. But she was too naive to hide things when she was in this. And because of that, she can't escape it. Living for the thrill of hitting you where it hurts. Because she can't heal, she's making sure that he suffers too, that he can't move on just like she can't move on. So all that she has is the ability to make him hurt. Give me back my girlhood. It was mine first. I think this is the most painful lyric Taylor has ever written. Because the loss of innocence and like this moment of like realizing that you lost like your childhood, your girlhood, and that like you're never going to get it back, and like just desperately wanting to reclaim that and you just can't. And like it's Pandora's box releasing these unknown horrors. It's the fact that she lost something she can only reclaim but never regain. She lost her innocence, her worldview, the person she was. She'll never find her old self, and she has to mourn that. But she also is still currently in the process of dying as that old self. Like she still isn't reborn as this new person and able to like get distance and clarity and mourn properly because she's not quite dead. This line is a wail. It's a moment of grief that can never be regained. She can never unknow this.
I cried because because that line is so freaking powerful. I agree. It's probably one of the best, most painful lyrics ever been written. There's no getting back your girlhood. You only get to be a kid once. She didn't get to be a kid. You're going to be mourning that forever. You never get to have that. You lost it.
And it's one of those things you don't know what you have until you lose it. And then it's gone and you can never regain.
It was hers. Like it was hers to have. And she didn't get it.
She didn't.
Because it was never hers. So anyway, that line can go to jail.
That line, jail immediately. My last note, 'cause the chorus is once again the same. The outro, she just repeats the bridge several times. She really said the bridge of the song is too good. I have to keep repeating it so you really get the point.
And we do.
But also the repetition of this is like a prayer. So she's repeating this bridge like a prayer. She confessed, and now she's saying her repentance, her Hail Marys, her prayers, begging to be allowed to move on.
Wow, I never thought of it like that. I just, again, I don't really think about it in a religious context because I'm personally not a religious person.
I mean, same.
But just, again, ruminating on it in those sleepless nights. But it is like a prayer. She is praying for that. She's begging for that closure.
And also kind of paralleling All Too Well, Sacred Prayer, You Were There. My discussion question, what did you feel the first time that you heard this song?
Immediately, okay, so I stayed up until midnight to listen to Midnights, and then I went to sleep. And then at 3 a.m., she dropped more songs. And then I woke up and I was like, So I listened to them. I was doing pretty good. I was like, wow, Midnights is a great album. And then I heard this song. This song can go to jail. I'm just kidding. I loved it. This song is one of my top Taylor songs. It's my top Taylor song. maybe
it's incredible.
Ever. It's so good. The first time I heard the song, I couldn't even fathom it because it's so personal. I can relate to it quite a bit. I think a lot of women can. I think it's really powerful. I think it's just so, and yeah, I scream sing this in the car and I cry every time.
You have to be prepared for this song. You can't have this come on shuffle. You gotta be ready for it.
And I do. I scream it every time.
And that's what could have, should have.
What about you when you first heard it?
I don't 100% remember, but I do think I cried the bridge the first time I heard it.
Give me back my girlhood. It was mine first. I cry every time I hear it.
I cry so often. That line just, oof.
Thinking about it from her perspective, thinking about it from my perspective, from anyone who relates to it, it's heartbreaking.
It is. So our hint songs for next week's much lighter episode.
First of all, we got through it.
We got through it.
Way to go. Way to go. We got through it.
We survived.
That was a tough episode.
And as a treat for next week, we have guests. We won't say who, but we have guests for next week.
Yeah.
My hint song is Bad Day by Justice Bennett.
My hint song is going to be Heaven by Maud Latour.
We stand Maud Latour.
And it's going to be a fun episode,
guys.
Gonna
be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot more lighthearted than this one.
Yeah.
Promise.
We promise.
We pinky promise.
We do. It's going to be it's just fun. We have guests. It'll be fun.
It'll be a good time.
So can't wait to see you there.
Chris, high five.
I'm ready to go to bed.
First, a high five.
Okay, high five first.
That's good enough. That's all that we got. That's all we got left in the tank.
All right, everyone.
All right, thanks for listening.
Yourselves.
Bye.